back to Closing Shift, a lovely Friday, December 6th today, episode number 45? Not...
Is this 4?
Is this 4?
44.
Welcome back to episode 44 or 45, maybe, depending on the country you live in, because of the... I don't know. I am one of your hosts, Emmy. That is your other host, Mia. We are Closing Shift, and we just want to say we love you solo, and also be sure to in the comments down below on Spotify and YouTube, and be sure also to go to Spotify and YouTube if you're on Apple Podcasts or a not normal platform to watch the video version of this.
Send this podcast to 10 of your closest friends to Tongaloa them.
Yes, we have been riffing on the Solos bloodline all day. And we were last night too, but it's just they're so funny. I don't know.
It is. It's so fun.
It's just so dumb. Like they have such like strong personalities in like the worst ways, but it's so funny. And it's hard for me to tell now, even if it's like supposed to be funny.
They're just like a gaggle of weirdos. And so it's like you never want to take them seriously. That's the one thing you never want to do. But you can absolutely admire the commitment to the bit.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's like Cody committing to Stardust.
I kinda, yeah.
But I mean, like, they don't have to paint their faces and look terrible. Thank God Cody got out of that situation.
I've got our week's opening question for you.
Oh, that's right.
If you were stuck in a gladiator arena, in a fight to the death between several teams, which team would you like to be a part of in order to win and not be killed to death by the others? If your team options are Tama Tonga and Tongaloa versus Randy Orton and Kevin Owens versus Jay and Jimmy Uso versus CM Punk and Paul Heyman.
Paul Heyman?
The strategist.
Why'd you bring Paul Heyman into this? I guess I'll be on CM Punk's team because he needs another actual wrestler. I mean, I'm not that, actually, but if I'm wrestling in this match, then I would be, so...
Fine, CM Punk and Shinsuke Nakamura. That's the other team. With also Paul Heyman.
That's an interesting combination. I'd probably join the Usos, personally. I think the Usos would be such a fun duo to tag with.
That's the thing, this is a fight to the death in gladiatorial combat.
Yeah, well, I'm obviously not joining Tama Tonga and Tongaloa.
You can have fun, but you're gonna fucking die.
Why do I have to die? What if we win?
We got fucking Tama Tonga Tongaloa.
What was the other? Randy Orton and Kevin Owens. Yeah, I don't want to be on that team either because Kevin Owens is so bitchy.
And bitching.
Shinsuke and Punk would be good. I feel like Shinsuke and Punk would both go to the death. Yeah, maybe that team, because I feel like they're the ones that would go the hardest.
Oh, Punk would absolutely go to the death, given his speech that he gave to Drew McIntyre right before Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, he was like, you'll be on your knees and you won't be praying to a god. You'll be praying to me.
Yeah, he was like, I won't promise that I'm gonna kill you, because I won't make a promise that I 100% can't keep. So my promise is this. I'm gonna make you bleed, and I promise you're gonna have to kill me. Because I'm ready to die. I'm ready for this to be the end of CM Punk.
Yeah. That
goes so hard.
Was insane. That was so dramatic.
And if you're ready for this to be the end of Drew McIntyre, then I'll see you in hell.
I'm impressed you remember that much of it.
I love that whole speech.
It's a good speech. As per usual with the Pipe Bomb Pro. You know what is great about one thing about the Pipe Bomb?
How well it fits in a mailbox.
He said yes. But also how he said, I'd like to think this company will be better after Vince McMahon is dead, but we didn't have to wait for him to die. It already got better, thankfully. So we're good. That story is kind of crazy because we are now officially, as of this episode, 1 year past CM Punk's return to the WWE, which is insane how much shit he's done in that time, considering he got injured in his first match too.
Yeah, he was like gone for like half of the year.
Well, he wasn't gone. He just couldn't fight. But he had so many banger segments, like that segment where him and Paul Heyman reunited for the first time. And he was like, take me with you.
I'm a Paul Heyman guy.
I saw somebody wearing a shirt at the, we're going to talk about Survivor Series later in the episode, but somebody at Survivor Series, I saw a woman wearing a I'm a Paul Heyman guy shirt. I would love to get that shirt.
It's good.
We need more wrestling merch.
We need more Paul Heyman.
Need more coffee. Need more Heyman.
Need more Heyman.
I've been doing the bit from regular show that's like, need more coffee. Need more Margaret. And I got it into Mia's head, and now Mia brings it up more than I do.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
That's the problem with it. You give me any kind of like brain rot, anything that's like so quotable or whatever, is that my brain wants to press the button 10 times more than anybody else's. I've only just now recently, in the past week, I've had a classic one I used to do all the time, but I took like a year off of it. Now it's re-entering my brain of the Meine Mama hat mir einfach, dass ich Cola trinken darf. Wie cool ist das bitte? Ich sage Fortnite und trink Cola. Yippee!
I didn't miss that one, to be honest.
Nobody did.
So, how's the Twilight Princess training going?
Twilight Princess training has actually been going good, because there is now only one singular trick in the entire run that if I can just do it consistently, then I would be able to just actually have good runs and I could start aiming for a PB. And that is Sword and Shield Skip, which is based off of enemy RNG in a very specific position that you have to push the enemy into, and then you have to hit a 4-frame window, and I can get it sometimes, but I can't get it consistently enough that it won't kill runs, and I'll have to like reset for like an hour and a half in order to like get a good run with it. So if I can just get that down, then like I'll actually be on pace to start running the game in like a good way. My current PB on a super old slow route is 451, which is it's not bad for that route. I did like very good in that. But if I can just, get a run with Sword and Shield Skip, and then everything else that I've learned, and this is the crazy thing. There is another trick later on in the run that is position perfect. You have to get a very precise angle and very precise movements. And then after you get the very precise angle, you then have to hit a 3-frame window. And I get that almost every time, but I still can't get Sword and Shield Skip. If I can get that, then I will probably be able to cut down to at least a 4-hour run. I want to start getting good PBs.
Yeah, who doesn't need a good PB?
I've had some fun with Twilight Princess in trying to now upload VODs to my VOD channel because my hard drive is so completely full. Discovering that Twilight Princess has a copyright troll issue, like a lot of other things have on YouTube, where video game music is copyright claimed by an illegitimate group who doesn't actually own the music, but YouTube doesn't do their homework ever for checking the rights holders for anything. So just some random copyright trolls are collecting money off of people playing Twilight Princess. And one of the things, Kakariko Village got claimed by them. And I was like, man, that sucks. And then I uploaded even more VODs, and the track Midna's Lament also got claimed. But the name of the track had a bit of an abnormality, because it isn't just Midna's Lament, it's Midna's Lament from The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. They didn't even spell the game correctly, and they still get to copyright squat on it.
It's a shame. It really is.
There's no checks in place for any of this system. They didn't even spell Legend of Zelda correctly. It's Legend.
There's no check. There's no balance. There's nothing.
And these people, this is like the same group that also claimed, exact same group that claimed a lot of my Morrowind shit too. I don't know why there's just nothing that ever gets done about this. Why Nintendo doesn't do anything about it? Somebody making money off of their IP. I mean, they took down AM2R. I feel like this is like not out of their wheelhouse.
I have no idea. YouTube's probably busy ruining other people's lives.
Yeah.
Mostly that of people who use emulators.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about how that Wii U case is gonna go. I've been trying to find a physical copy of Twilight Princess so I can run the game on official hardware and actually be able to submit runs. But games collecting is in such a horrible place that you can't get a physical copy of Twilight Princess for less than $100, even if it's a used copy. So that's off the table for quite a long time, that I can actually submit a speed run of the game.
Cooked. They should have just ported the HD versions of those of Zelda games from Wii U to Switch.
That's the thing is that, yeah, I mean, I really don't know why there isn't a port of that from Wii U. But even then, the version that I run is GameCube version, because it is just, it's, in my opinion, the best version to run. It has a lot of the most fun stuff in it, and it just makes the most sense for a lot of it, because for the Wii version, the entire game is mirrored, and there's different setups for stuff. There's, like, changes to a lot of stuff. So I prefer the GameCube version. Mm-hmm. But I own a Wii copy of it physically, but I'm not going to run a Wii copy of it. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, fair enough. I wouldn't either. I also think that Twilight Princess is just best on GameCube in general.
I mean, the Wii is basically the same power as the GameCube, so you're not getting anything new graphically out of it. The only thing new that you really get out of playing it on Wii is just motion controls, which makes it like...
Which is awesome.
Yeah, and there's a lot of frame-perfect shit in that speed run, and I'm not trying to do frame-perfect inputs with motion controls. You're out of your goddamn mind.
And I'm in mine. I'm right in there.
Cram it in there. How have your gaming ventures been recently?
Well, I wish I had the Sword and Shield skip down now, because I have been playing Pokemon Sword, and holy God almighty, is it a nightmare to sit through sometimes. It is.
You can skip that whole game.
I could tolerate the entire game up until I got to the championship fight, and then they were like, wait, no, the legendary Pokemon are acting up, so we gotta go check them out. And it's like, what? Like, it basically baits you at the end of the game, and it's just like, in a masterful way, and it's so annoying.
Masterful gambit, sir.
It's just like, dude, I thought I was done.
You'll never be free.
Oh, I fucking will. There will be some time this weekend that I'm gonna finish this fucking game one way or the other. I don't even particularly have another game I'm majorly trying to move on to. Just trying to move out of this game.
Would you rather be stuck on a desert island with Tongaloa or Hop?
That is the worst question I've ever been asked. Holy shit, I don't know. Tongaloa, because he's stronger, and at least he barely speaks.
Yeah, at least when you cook meat over the fire, Hop isn't like, wow, how do you know how to do that?
All Hop does is fucking talk. Bro's like, double, use ground pound. Double, use ground pound. Double. Bro has his double in his first Pokemon slot. Like, dude, what the fuck? You have a fully evolved Sobble line. I don't remember the name. He has a Rapidash and shit, and it's like, you're using your fucking dub wool.
That's not a dub.
I'm sick of it. L wool. I'm waiting till I can I should be getting some new games, some actually new games soon. There are other games I want to play that I'm going to play, but it's hard to play some of my games I have right now because I'm in a particular mood about the pathway I'm on in gaming, and most of it being on my Nintendo Switch. That's I have to account for the fact that that's mostly where I want to play right now.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because I take my gaming with me a lot, and I don't like playing games that much on my phone, so the Switch is it. So I'm trying to get everything I can out of my Switch right now.
Oh, I forgot to give an update. When I got it 2 weeks ago, I said I was going to talk about it, and then I completely forgot to talk about it with my new controller.
You're fired.
Fired completely. Yeah, because I don't take notes for this show. But yeah, I got the 8-bit dough Xbox-style controller with a Hall effects joysticks, and it's been pretty good. It's just, I mean, as far as controllers go, it took a little bit to get used to the shape of the buttons for it, because I was used to the Switch Pro controller, which has a lot of I don't know what shape you would call that for the typical bumpers on controllers. It's kind of like an eyebrow kind of shape that full arch over the edge. This has consider the typical bumper buttons on controllers to be a human eyebrow. These are like Rottweiler eyebrows, little stubs. And that was weird to get used to at first. And they also have the, whatever you call it, the types of triggers that they don't just register on off, they register how far down they're pulled. So that was also something to get used to, is that that not having that clickiness out of the trigger buttons that I was used to out of the Pro controller, which is more like how the GameCube controllers are, but I don't use those very often. But those GameCube controllers don't have pressure sensitivity. They're just kind of spring loaded.
Yeah.
It's a decent controller.
That's good. I'm still rocking the same controllers I've had. I haven't had to deal with a controller issue in a while. Even my Joy-Cons like have some drift, but it's not bad enough to like worry about or notice that much. I'm just like, in terms of me and gaming, I guess in terms of casual gaming, I'm like in the best state I've ever been in for it. And I'd like to keep it that way. Like, the reason I love the Switch is because it's a console I can just like have set up at my TV. It takes up very little room. I can like, it's got the gimmick of what it is. I can take it everywhere. I can detach the Joy-Cons. And it's the only console I like having hooked up at any given time because I don't use my other ones. I've tried to have them all hooked up at the same time, or like some of them hooked up at the same time. Like, I'll never play any of them except for my Switch. I play everything I don't play on my Switch on my computer, which is fine. I just prefer it that way because the Switch is so easy. It's also such a comfortable console. It's like easy to navigate. And I mean, there's a lot of good games on it too, so that helps. I don't want to run out of Switch stamina. That's why in my deepest pit of my gut, I'm afraid of them changing the entire style of what the main Nintendo console will be when they announce the next one, even though I'm really hoping it's just a like sequel to the Switch.
We at least got the news from Nintendo that the Switch successor is going to be backwards compatible, which does imply that all the like gimmick features of the Switch are still going to be inherent to the
That's
new
good.
system, such as like even having like probably the IR in the bottoms of the Joy-Cons for stuff
Right.
like WarioWare, which a lot of people don't know about that like that little like black square at the bottom of your Joy-Con. There's a little infrared camera inside of that.
Yep.
Pointing at your dick all the time.
I do know about that. Well, that is good. That is comforting to know. That'll probably be one of the first consoles I'll ever buy, like, immediately as it comes out, because I'm definitely going to. I'm just too big of a Nintendo fan.
It just came back to mind that I think I had a dream last night or 2 nights ago. It just is so faintly a memory now. I had a dream that the entire crux of the dream was that Nintendo was releasing a mid-gen console, and I was like, that's so fucking stupid.
Yeah, that's my worst nightmare. Like, I think they, like, killed it with the Wii, had the motion controls and stuff set up the way they liked. Excuse me, god damn, my throat is so, like, dry and weird today. I'm sorry for my voice, but like with the Wii, I feel like they like nailed the motion control thing, at least for the time being, because it was the mid-2000s. And then with the Wii U, they were like, okay, with the gamepad, we're like getting to kind of what we want to do. And then they like made the perfect like thing out of those two with the Switch.
Yes.
And I feel like there is literally zero reason to ever change the formula because it works so well, especially for the kinds of games they like making, clearly. Like, there's so many different ways to play. Like, why make another portable only? I mean, they have the Switch Lite. They have a portable only version that's smaller, which is awesome. I love that too.
I saw somebody mod a Switch Lite recently. All they did is that they just added an HDMI port to the Switch Lite, and it just worked like a normal Switch. It was like the cheapest mod ever, and they were like, well, fixed it.
And there you go. But it's just so, like, I almost wanted to get a Switch Lite for a while just so I could have a cute little colorful one. But damn, yeah, it's just something I'm looking forward to having a, like, I wanted to buy the OLED model when it came out, but it's too late at this point. I would have if I could have at the time.
I just have to hope that the next console is just going to have OLED inherently.
Yeah, I'm sure it will probably, well, maybe.
Oh.
It might have that. I'm hoping that it's just like a improved, I can't imagine how they would go about, I'm not sure what their goal is going to be in developing this console, but I'm not sure where they're going to place their priorities in the issues that Switch does have, but I am excited to see what they do if it is going to be a Switch successor specifically.
Imagine it's the exact same system, except it's just curved like a monitor. Like those
No,
curved
thanks.
gaming monitors. It just doesn't fit into anything.
That's worse. I'd rather them make a new console. No, curved dock. You're going to make the curved dock.
The curved dock.
Make it suck. Just make a PS5 out of it. Just ruin the shape.
It's one continuous screen in the shape of a ring. like the Jumbotron.
Every single Switch 2 comes with a curved monitor to play your curved Nintendo games.
It is just the one thing that I will never know peace until they announce it, of whatever the new gimmick is going to be for the new system.
Yeah, I also will not know peace until I've seen the new system and heard what it's going to be like.
I mean, we've seen so far, the best that we've seen of its performance is that the gameplay little teaser for Metroid Prime 4 where it looked really good. You could see that it was like definitely way better than Switch graphics right now. It looks like it's going to be decently graphically competent as a system. I doubt it's going to be into the level of like, it'll play Elden Ring. Like, that's not going to happen.
Never say never.
Yeah, it might just... I mean, I feel like the Steam Deck now maybe is like forcing Nintendo's hand a bit more to focus more on performance, if that is a thing.
That's true.
Because the Steam Deck can play Elden Ring. And so it's like, if you can't have anywhere close to that power, then it's like, unless the physical gimmick of it is so crazy good, then there's, there'd be no reason for anybody to not just get a Steam Deck if they just care about portable gaming.
I wouldn't mind having one of those either. I think if I had a Steam Deck and like the new Nintendo console, whatever it ends up being, I think I'd be set for like the next several years.
I would love to have a Steam Deck because it's not even just for like portable gaming. You can run Windows on it. You can do desktop things on it on this tiny little portable system. It's very versatile for reasons outside of just portable gaming. And it can run Elden Ring, it can run Cyberpunk. It's a powerful little thing.
Well, portable gaming is definitely the only thing I would use it for. I would use it mostly, honestly, probably to play games with like very simple controls. Just like anything I could get on it, like Arcade Paradise or maybe Black Ops 3. I don't know about that. It could probably run it, but...
Does it have gyro?
Like Doom Eternal, Lego Star Wars or whatever.
Steam Deck has gyro. Oh, that's great. That makes it great for a lot of first-person
I'm going to
shooters.
use my Steam Deck to play Lurkbait Tush Fishing.
That's one of the things with one of the nice things using a Pro controller for like some stuff for computer things is that you can bind gyro controls to some other, like mouse input type stuff like you'd normally do, or joystick. So for a lot of games that require like precise shooting, it can be very helpful to have gyro instead of using joystick for aiming, because you can like adjust way faster.
That's why like I do plan on playing Borderlands on my Switch, just because that's where I have it. And to be honest, you could say what you want about the performance, but it does not bother me. I would rather, it's like, for me, in order, like, to explain that part, if it works on the Switch and I can take it with me places and I don't have to have it locked to my computer as a gaming experience, I'm going to get it on the Switch, because that's just where I like to play games you would play with a controller, mostly.
Yeah.
It's just my preference. I know that if there were a bunch of people to go in our comments to be like, I can't believe you play a game like Borderlands on the Switch. You probably have the Arkham trilogy on the Switch. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a game from like 2009 that like doesn't need a lot to run. Well, I know the Arkham trilogy's pretty old, but it's definitely not made for the Switch. And I actually do have that on Steam. I could play that on my Steam Deck if I had one.
There's a new Batman game for VR. They're marketing the Quest 3 with a new Batman game.
Oh, yeah, no, I saw an ad for that, actually.
But I feel like it's worth mentioning because it'll be right after... I mean, it should still be going on the day that this episode comes out. But on Epic Games, you should be able to get Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga for free when this episode is out. So go claim that if that interests you, because I'm gonna be taking advantage of that.
I don't remember what it was, but there was some free game. Oh, yeah, it was Brotato. I was going to get...
Oh, yeah.
Brotato for free. That's free right now, although that will end by the time this episode comes out. That will not be free by the time this episode comes out. Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga becomes free on Epic Games on December 5th. So it'll be available from December 5th to December 12th if you want to get that for yourself. I have that game on Steam and Switch, actually, so I don't need it.
Yeah, I've been looking forward to Skywalker Saga forever because it looked like a lot of fun when I saw of it.
Yeah, no, it is fun. I got pretty far in it on Steam, but I'm probably gonna go for completing it on my Switch, which locks it to like 30 FPS and it lags if there's too much action. Yeah. But that's fine. I don't really care.
I think performance in games is just such a like personal preference thing these days. That like, of course, it is like if a brand new like $70 game is gonna drop and it's gonna run like shit, then obviously that's not good practice. And it deserves criticism for, not keeping with the standards of the time. But for actually enjoying a game and choosing like how you want to play, doing whatever, like a lot of people will be like, oh, you're doing anything below 60 FPS, it's trash.
Yeah, that's not.
I'm a way bigger fan of having 60 FPS, of course, because it's just a nicer experience. But I mean, I played Tears of the Kingdom, and that's stuck at 30, and you just get used to it, and it looks fine at 30.
You get used to it, yeah, exactly.
Played Majora's Mask recently. That game is locked to 20 FPS at maximum. And after you play it for a couple hours, you're like, oh, that's what 60 looks like. And you feel like you're going in a race car. But you just get used to it when you're like playing a game in a certain frame rate. Like, sure, it looks weird for the first like hour, but like you just get used to it.
It just isn't as big of a deal.
It's not a big deal.
It's not as big of a deal as a lot of people make it, in my opinion. And also, the other reason I want the new console to be some Switch thing is because the Switch is so customizable that it would be like insane. Like there's just no world where it works out for Nintendo if they don't release like another Switch that's better or whatever.
You know what I want to see from the Switch successor? I want to see them bring back cosmetic plates like they did for the new 3DS, where you can switch out like the plastic plates for the backing with different decals.
Yeah, that would be cool. I need the portable. This will be so stupid because that's just what the Switch is. But like the portable GameCube flip screen for it, just another screen to turn my Switch into a DS.
You know what I wouldn't even doubt now could possibly be a new physical thing for the Switch successor? This is two things that I think might be possible. One, having wireless charging. And two, with a lot of other devices that have wireless charging now, they usually also have an NFC system, meaning that you can, through the same area of the device of wireless charging, transfer data between two different points through wireless contact there. Because kind of like how we have the Amiibo like reader, I don't doubt that there could be something new that they could do with that, of like having a bigger gimmick about like this physical aspect of things that you can like scan.
Yeah.
Like imagine if they brought back that kind of thing. You go to like a Toys R Us or a GameStop or something with your copy of Fire Red, and they'd like download the DLC special event thing onto it. Imagine that, but you could like open up like a Pokemon booster pack card, and there's a little like card with an NFC tag in it that you can scan onto your Switch for whatever.
That'd be nice.
Be interesting.
There's a lot of things you could do to improve the Switch, but also there's so many great things about it.
I just feel like they've had Amiibo technology since the Wii U, and it's been so underutilized. The fact that the Switch has an NFC reader. Because NFC is like an incredibly useful thing for data transfer, especially in a gimmick capacity. And they just don't utilize it ever.
Yeah.
Even since the fact that a lot of phones now have NFC reading and writing capabilities. You could do like digital promos where you can scan something to your Switch from your phone if you have like an NFC reader in your phone. I'm fantasizing over here.
I'm just hoping.
The technology's there.
I just need them not to fuck this up, this new console.
God, yeah.
I really just want to be like, I'm excited to buy that.
You know, I truly wouldn't even mind if we got a new DS style system, like portable system, that is just like in the DS family.
That wouldn't be the worst thing.
Not for a Switch successor. Just if we got a new like DS style system, I think would be kind of fun. Eventually.
That wouldn't be the worst thing, although I have no idea how they would go about that.
I just think, like, given that even now the Switch is old, I don't think it's completely out of the question that there could possibly be a successor to the 3DS that is closer to the power of the Switch.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
I think that would probably not do too well, though, probably in the same way that, like, the PS Vita didn't do great. I'm just a big fan of the 3DS, and I just would hope that there's some future for that kind of system.
I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to have like a DS or a 3DS or the 2DS XL or something, one of the flippable ones with two screens, but I'm just not in the market to buy an old one. It would depend also if I was in the market to buy a new one, depending on when it came out and what it was. We'll have to see what they do and then talk about it.
Did you see that now Xbox, they said that they're moving away from the physical market, and instead they're focusing now on software and making it more like the new sort of tagline of it is that like any device can be an Xbox. Like your phone can be an Xbox.
I did not hear about this.
I think they're kind of giving up on consoles because there's no reason to buy an Xbox. So they're starting to move into a marketing thing of just like, we're going to focus on software, Sega style.
Well, good for them.
They've said that before, though, and immediately doubled back and released a shitty mid-gen, so let's see how this goes.
We'll see. Can only hope. And just see what happens with Microsoft.
They're probably just going to be like focusing on cloud gaming shit and doubling down on subscription models, if I had to guess what that means for them.
I gotta do the rubby eyes. My allergies have been so bad recently. I just like cannot win. I'll try doing my makeup and then I'll go to work, but I gotta like deal with my nose without fucking up my makeup. I'm like, this makes this whole thing pointless. It's so annoying.
Your allergies are out here playing Wargames.
Literally. Nice smell. That was a transition.
I smell a segue.
All right, let's talk about Survivor Series War Games. There were 5 matches of the night, starting with the women's War Games match.
It was okay.
It was okay. It wasn't very good. It was not the best match.
It was good at the very end.
It had some of the worst chair shots I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh my god, Nia Jax had the most pathetic chair shot I've ever seen. It looked like she was like fanning the Emperor.
It was terrible. Yeah. Nia starting the match was a huge fumble.
Yeah, the rules of War Games is that the match doesn't officially start until all competitors are in the ring. But I didn't think that meant that the match wouldn't start until they all got in the ring.
Yes, if you don't know how a War Games match works, there are 5 women on each team. 2 women will start after 5 minutes of the match going on. There will be another woman who enters, and then every 3 minutes, another woman will enter until all 10 women have entered the match, and that is when the bell will ring and the match will actually start. So you cannot win or lose the match until all 10 women have entered, which makes sense because that would, if you could, it would just be pointless.
Yes, everybody filters in Rumble style, and the bell only rings to begin when all of them are there. But sadly, there was nothing, like, happening. I mean, everybody's wrestling until before that point, because the point is that you want to get, like, you still want to be wrestling during that time, because you want to have a good advantage by the time the match actually starts. You want to be at advantage at that point. But for the women's War Games, it was just like nothing happening up until the match officially started. So it was just kind of like 20 minutes of nothing.
It was about as captivating as the build-up to the match.
Yeah, there was a great moment with Tiffany Stratton and Io Sky where they both, Io Sky went down Niagara Falls in her barrel, jumping off the top of the ring with her trash can, and Tiffany Stratton hitting a swanton at the same time. Not entirely synchronized, but the thought was there, which unfortunately the camera work was not great for that match either, and they just didn't even capture that. So a lot of the cool moments you only got to see in the instant replay because production just wasn't on it for a lot of it.
Right. It was sad. Yeah,
it just wasn't much. And then you have I've seen a lot more criticism recently of this sort of like of Rhea Ripley being this invincible booking, which it is like. It is a bit more apparent when you have these like she's getting beat up in a 1v5 basically and like getting wailed on with a baseball bat, like a studded baseball bat, and then she just gets back up and does everything. It's like, I like Rhea Ripley. I think she's a great wrestler. I think it's cool when she looks cool. But there is like a certain realistic stance that it's like, there's a bunch of other wrestlers in this ring that you can also have them helping Rhea Ripley so she doesn't have to like look like Superman. Like, I feel like that's the bigger problem of it, is that, like, they only know what to do with Rhea, and they only know how to give Rhea a moment without the assistance of any other wrestler. So it just looks like she's always soloing, when they could have other wrestlers there at her support.
This is my brutality. Yeah, no, I love Rhea, but she does get, like, portrayed as a solo act, even in group matches, a lot. And it's like, you realize all these other women in the ring are wrestlers too, right?
That's what it feels like whenever there's any kind of like big thing of a lot of the women's division, is that it just feels a lot of time like they're not being utilized at all.
Yeah.
Like it just they just don't do much. They don't book much. There's a lot of dead air. And then whenever something exciting does happen, it's the one person that is the safe pick.
Yeah, it's truly unfortunate.
There was during that match, like 8 wrestlers just kind of bench warming.
I mean, that match was fucking bad omens from the beginning anyway.
Yeah.
That match had a mid build-up, and the match was worse.
When you start with Bayley and Nia Jax, given Bad Blood also being Bayley and Nia Jax.
Yes, which if you don't know for reference, we had to watch that match in person. And thankfully, it's the match where I happen to step away for a little bit to get food in the arena.
Yeah, that match got better towards the end, but I'm pretty sure that is also the one that had the botch.
Yes. we did get the classic, at this point, instant classic Tiffy like tease.
Oh my god, yeah, again they fucking teased
that
it.
woman does not know what Money in the Bank means. Apparently, she does not know what the briefcase is for.
It was like even a couple weeks before Bad Blood, Tiffany Stratton started teasing her Money in the Bank cash-in and then got faked out. And then at Bad Blood, Tiffy faked out the Money in the Bank cash-in. And at Wargames, we saw her pull out the fucking case, still didn't cash it in. It's like the GX ball in the original Pokemon series. It's like, are we ever going to get a payoff for this? No.
It's crazy how much they're just not doing anything with it.
That's again a problem of like the women's division. They don't know what to do with anybody right now. Like we've seen like this rivalry of Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan has been like kind of stagnant for a while, and the title run of Tiffany Stratton being able to take away from Nia Jax also just been stagnant for months. We haven't seen any real movement.
I mean, the most they're doing for women right now is these new mid-card championships, which is good, but they've like crippled the like main event scene in women's wrestling in order to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, what is wrong with you, Paul? What are you doing?
It just felt like a filler arc for half of the year. Nothing really significant happening.
Yep. And guess who's got to sit here and listen to all of it? You do.
You get to listen to us bitch and moan and bitching and bitching.
You get to listen to some wrestling fans just go at it on and on, yap and yap and yap.
Let's yap about the next match.
All right. The second match of the night was it was
checking my Google brain.
It was I'm not even looking it up. I'm just doing this bit. The fuck was the second match? Damien wasn't the second match. Oh, the second match was the United States Championship match between LA Knight and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
A great match, actually. And Shinsuke winning was great. It's great that they didn't bury Shinsuke in that match, because he just got back.
That was good shit. Dude's having his rise right now, and I'm here for it, because he's fucking entertaining as shit. Especially, like, LA Knight. LA Knight and Shinsuke are both, like, incredible performers. They both demand so much of the ring. So it's great to watch both of them. Like, when you're watching them, you're watching wrestling. Like, you're seeing some, like, that's instant classic shit.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
Shinsuke also looking scary as shit.
Yeah, well, I don't even know if you saw it, but on SmackDown, he misted LA Knight, which means he sprayed black liquid from his mouth into LA Knight's face, into his eyes, which is about as terrible as it sounds.
How can I drive the Slim Jim car now?
Slim Mobile.
It is funny when they do this, like, very epic entrance for Shinsuke. He comes out dressed as a samurai, and he, like, kneels in the ring, and there's this blood moon and this, like, epic music, and then in the background, Slim Jim.
Yeah, true. There was that funny moment during the show, just like a side note. I don't remember. I think it was during the men's Wargame match, but the crowd was silent, and then you heard, Tama Tonga sucks from the crowd. So loud and clear. Like, if you watch the men's Wargame match, you cannot miss it. Your ears will pick it up by force. It's so funny. Someone just screamed that.
That was straight into the mic.
It was so fucking funny.
Tama Tonga sucks!
But anyway, moving on. That was a good match. 10 out of 10. Love LA, love Shinsuke. Next match of the night was I believe the next match was Braun Breaker versus Sheamus versus Ludwig Kaiser for the Intercontinental Championship. Another
fantastic match, in my opinion.
Yes, probably the best title-related match of the night. It was fantastic. Braun Breaker is insane. I don't know how he does what he does.
He had, like, I mean, imagine, like, a fucking, like, lion leaping out of the grass at 20 miles per hour through the air at a gazelle.
No, he's like a cheetah with the power of a lion.
Like, so, you know, like, a lot of wrestlers, they can get, like, a lot of speed when they jump off of, like, the side of the ring towards wherever, because they're getting a bit of a boosted start so they can just focus on forward momentum. Somehow, from ground level, Braun Breaker hit this flying shoulder, like at like straight up like 20 miles per hour. He just fucking flew through the air, hit like a 5-foot vertical. It was crazy.
Bro's got torque.
He was like, there was a couple different moments in that match where he was just a missile.
Yeah, there was one particular scene where even the commentators were like, where the fuck did Braun just come from? Because he flew, like, you never saw his feet touching the ground. He flew into the camera frame at them, and that's all he did.
It was a solid, like, 12 feet that he just leapt through.
No, he's like, I don't know. He's like Goldberg if Goldberg were better at wrestling and relevant. And not old as shit. Goldberg. That was a fun moment we got at Bad Blood where Goldberg jumped the barricade and almost went into a ring and fought Gunther.
I was saying earlier this year, when we were first starting to see a bit more Braun Breaker, I was like, I would love to see more of this guy. And that is an investment that I am incredibly happy for. He
was like
doing so good.
Braun Breaker is it. Guess where Braun Breaker's from? Atlanta, bitch.
I mean, he hit the fucking, like, I think it was like a moonsault or something. Or was it, what was it?
The thing off the top rope?
Yeah, it was like one of the earlier things that it was like just a frame fucking perfect, insane move that I was like, this guy is like at the fucking peak of wrestling physique. Like this is an S tier fighter.
Bro is him, if anybody is him.
But there was like, in that match also, not even just Braun Breaker looking cool as shit, just hitting some crazy moves like that. You had some really great moments with like Ludwig Kaiser trying to set up a chair in the corner, and then he turns around and Sheamus and Braun are both just staring at him, and then they start beating his ass, and he's like, whoa.
Yeah, no, he like flies towards the chair, and he's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Who put that there?
Yeah, like who put that? Literally, like he turned around like he was so surprised the chair was there.
It was so good. And there was also, I think it was after Braun, like he beat the shit out of Sheamus and Ludwig was on the ground, starting to crawl away backwards, and Braun was just chasing after him. Like begging the fucking killer for his life, like a horror movie, just backing away into the crowd. That was a great match.
That was a great match. That was arguably.
And don't forget Sheamus popping up, slowly rising up from the crowd behind Ludwig.
Oh yeah, Ludwig was like chilling in front of the crowd, and Sheamus rose up behind him like a villain.
Oh my god.
So funny.
So many great moments in that match.
Yeah, that match was probably the best match of the night in general, I'd say. The men's War Game match was good, but that match was just an instant classic. They also, in that match, teased Sheamus winning, which was really sad. I would have been happy if Sheamus won. I'm happy that Braun won, but I would have been happy if Sheamus won too, because Sheamus hasn't won the Intercontinental Championship. I'm sure they're going to get there, honestly, but we'll see. Sheamus is just Mr. Banger after banger.
He is. I mean, that was just, again, just like a bunch of like incredible wrestlers just all working within their comfort zone. All of them just like in their element. Perfect.
And now we can move on to the next match, which was Damian Priest versus Gunther.
The Ring General!
For the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I'm not going to lie to you guys. This match was kind of mid, because Damian hurt his shoulder at the beginning of the match, and then he couldn't do anything. It was pretty good for his shoulder being hurt, but the way it ended, also in my opinion, was kind of dumb. Because the match was pretty good. He tried to hit a bunch of his stuff. Damian did. He tried to like pull a bunch of moves out on Gunther, and he just like kept like his shoulder kept giving. But then at one point they did like a move where Damian got knocked out of the ring, and the ref was checking on Gunther and distracted. And then Finn Balor, of course, came out and did a coup de grace on Damian outside from the top of the steel steps. And most people seem to agree with me that they need to just retire the Finn versus Damian thing.
They got to do something.
It's getting old.
It's been like almost half a year that we've had like the Judgment Day kind of thing going on. And that's another thing that it feels like we can start to like move along some of these storylines.
It's it's just like, just you don't need to do it anymore. It's fine.
And spoilers for the match, Gunther ended up winning, of course, with his classic sleeper hold. But I was really hoping that we would see Damian win that match, because I wanted to see Damian in a good position to take on the Judgment Day so they could finally squash that. But this, with him losing that, makes me think that we might have to wait even longer for him to be in a sort of victory run to take on Judgment Day and wrap up some more of that story.
I mean, yeah. I mean, like I'm ready. I'm ready for it to be done. They could quite frankly just like uninstall that rivalry from their device. I'm really it's just like they had the match at Bad Blood, Damian. Like I get it, but at the same time it's like it's old. The internet and WWE move so fast. It's like they got to do something with Damian before he just hits a low.
Yeah.
Because he was at like the height of his popularity. Like if he had won that match, it would have been cool because it would have been
Terror
like
Twins was popping off like crazy a few months ago.
Yeah, Terror Twins was like the hottest shit in WWE for a little while there. But anyway, so that match was like a mid out of 10.
Let me say this about Gunter, is I think he's a good wrestler. I don't have anything against the guy, but there is a pattern emerging in Gunter's fights, and it's what we've seen. We saw it with Randy versus Gunter. We've seen it even with Cody versus Gunter, and now we've seen it with Damian versus Gunter, where every single time somebody gets into the ring with him, it always starts with some level of immediate excitement, and then the energy drops immediately because somebody will like have some sort of injury that they get early on, or somebody will just immediately be like worn out by a hold. And then the rest of the match just takes like 5 steps back in its pacing. Like every time that there is a match with Gunter, it always starts exciting and then immediately just slows down. It's just a problem with like his booking for quite a while. That's like you don't get to see a lot of the exciting wrestling and like variety that you want to see. You see like some of the usual stuff, but then you're just kind of watching holds for the next 10 minutes.
In my opinion, that was one of the better Gunther PLE matches.
Yes,
yesterday.
Absolutely.
It was pretty good. It wasn't super sleeper like some of the other ones have been, especially the one against Randy. But
oh my god, yeah.
I'm pretty happy with the quality of the match. It definitely wasn't the worst match of the night, in my opinion. The worst match of the night was the women's Wargames, unfortunately, and that has nothing to do with the women involved. The booking and except Nia Jax, Nia Jax definitely has a part in it.
The problem is Nia Jax and nobody else has anything going on right now to like have any vested interest.
It was just, it wasn't like a team thing. It was a bunch of individual little rivalries, including them like...
It doesn't have the same stakes as the men's war game. Especially with like Nia Jax holding the women's title for this long is just a sign of the times.
Yeah, I think like they do a pretty good job all around. Like WWE is pretty well-rounded right now, but you also have to like try to keep the momentum up. You like
outside of Rhea Ripley, the women's division has just been like suffering for the past year.
Yeah, it's been poopy poo, but man, it's just like just do something. I mean, that's what's good about these mid-card championships coming to women, because I mean, like, you know, a million years ago they could have done this if Vince wasn't in charge and completely sexist. But now that they're doing it, God, they need not miss with this opportunity, or I will like end my own life. I cannot stand the women's division being so boring now, especially because there are so many talented women. Triple H built that division up so fucking hard. Obviously, the women are the one that built it up, but Triple H like putting women in the spotlight like that and giving them like a real division with like real valid respect and stuff, like it's so good. And it is so good. Like, Paul, you're like fumbling the bag, buddy. Like, you gotta do something with them. You gotta try.
Let's get into men's war games.
Yes, finally, the moment you've all been waiting for. The undisputed match of the night. The men's War Games match started with Jey Uso and Tama Tonga, who is actually a very scary individual to look at. He was crawling around the cage before the match started, going like a fucking like I don't know, like a wild animal trapped inside a cage. Like I don't know, whatever the opposite of like logic and reasoning is, that's what Tama Tonga has. Bro is just like a fiend out of hell. So yeah, the match started with and going into this match, we of course had the tension between CM Punk and Roman Reigns being on the same team because Paul Heyman called an audible. And sorry, I totally blacked out on my train of thought for a second.
Like the camera did after CM Punk pushed Bronson Reed's face.
Right. Yeah, CM Punk was the third person to come out. They only had 4 people come out because they actually, since Jey Uso was starting the match, they did his regular entrance from the crowd.
Yeah, they let him go straight to the ring.
Which was interesting, but I mean, like, it was cool that they did that. Like, obviously, Jey Uso has such a fun entrance, you almost never want to miss it. It's honestly sad that that's one of the entrances we didn't get to see and be a part of.
Yeah, there was briefly, I mean, in the audience of Bad Blood, Jay, in between matches, got a little yeet going just from his seat. But yeah, we didn't get an official Jay
got
thing
Rhea
going
hitting
on.
a yeet. Rhea hit a yeet in the ring.
Oh my god, it's another storyline that we just haven't seen anything of in like half a year.
What?
Jay and Rhea.
Jaya? Yeah. No, it's so sad. It's I was scrolling through my camera roll to find that Tama Tonga meme earlier, and I saw a picture of when Jey Uso rescued Damian and Rhea on Raw, and I was like, damn, like, man, it sucks how little they've done with that, because the internet was freaking out over Jey Uso x Rhea Ripley.
Yeah. It was just like a cool thing.
And she was too. She was being like, yeet.
They went to the Waffle House.
Probably ain't never been to Waffle House.
Yeet.
Yeet. I love one of my favorite Jey Uso lines recently was on SmackDown when he came to SmackDown for the first time to talk to Solo and his bloodline. He's like, why'd you have to go and get Jacob, man? There's a reason we don't see him. And if he keeps looking at me like that, I'm gonna whoop that ass.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
I'm gonna knock his ass out.
Like, there's just so much, I don't know why, but the bloodline is so funny. Like, everything about both bloodlines is so funny.
I mean, you just have the good vibes of the Usos, everybody just being so, like, on guard and being very fun, very serious all the time, and just having that good chemistry. New bloodline is like, it's like just the League of Villainy, whatever that's from.
Yeah, no, it's so fun. It's like, they're like on par with like villains in like DreamWorks movies. They're like so stupid. Yeah. Like Solo's basically a glorified Samoan Farquaad. He's like, do my bidding for me, acknowledge me. It's hilarious.
I think men's war games in general it was very good. It was action all the way through, hardly a dull moment. Apparently Jimmy broke his toe when he did that frog splash, and he looked actually in pain after. I thought that was something with his stomach from landing wrong on Jacob, but apparently he broke his toe.
I did see that something went wrong with that, which is unfortunate. But yeah, no, that match was crazy. It definitely, like, after the sourness and the taste of the audience and people watching at home of the women's match, to see the men's match, that like glorified a lot of even its mid moments.
You know, we didn't know at first. It really didn't make a lot of sense why Big Bronson Reed was there with the new bloodline for Wargames. It like was just such a weird choice, but it ended up being a good choice.
Yes. I mean, what else would you do? Bro needs screen time. He's huge. They just love using him.
He's big.
And I love that they use him. I honestly really like Bronson Reed. He's really crazy, and it's hilarious.
I think one of the biggest highlights of the match for me was when Bronson Reed like was a frog splash that he was gonna hit on Roman.
Yes,
or not a frog splash, but
yeah, no, Bronson Reed was gonna tsunami Roman.
That's what it's called.
He was gonna tsunami Roman from the top of the cage, but then CM Punk saved Roman and pulled him out of the way.
Yes, that was after Roman botched after Solo threw his spear into Punk.
Yes,
Roman. He had a little like Sammy Uso moment where he accidentally kicked Roman in the face. He was like, "Oh shit!" So that's how that happens,
right? And Punk was like, "Just for this one time."
Very respectable all the way through.
Even after the match ended, they had, for some reason, Jimmy, Jay, and Sammy do like a hug, like yeah moment with Roman as CM Punk watched on by himself. And then the same thing with Punk where they all like hugged and stuff while Roman looked on by himself. It was weird. There's so much romantic tension between Roman and Punk.
But with that moment of the tsunami through the table, is that since most of that was going to get absorbed by Roman, it all went into the table instead. And that table
exploded.
It fucking exploded. It is normally when a table gets broken in WWE, it splits into 2 pieces.
Yeah, it just gets cracked in half.
This broke into 3, with the entire middle section breaking apart and the 2 leg sections.
Yeah, 3, aka 3 big pieces and a million shards of wood everywhere.
The metal support bar from underneath the table shot out like a string of spaghetti, and there was fucking sawdust in the middle of the ring from where it exploded.
I encourage all of you to go watch that clip on YouTube. It was the most insane fucking clip that WWE's had in a while.
And shout out Solo while on the ground cleaning up some of the table.
Solo.
He got it out of the way for a different move that Roman was about to hit that he could have gotten himself hurt on.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, Roman or Solo practiced good co-wrestler etiquette, which is actually really cool to see because
it's cool to see.
It's cool when you see that kind of thing. Like it's like I don't want to talk about Logan Paul more than this sentence, but when Rey Mysterio like botched a move at Crown Jewel and Logan Paul caught him and saved him from hurting himself. It's kind of like that. It's a huge deal to like take care of your fellow wrestlers in the ring.
Yeah. It's way more important that everybody is safe than like, oh no, kayfabe, I have to be on the ground. They're going to get hurt by that, but I can't do anything.
Right. That's why like you'll see a lot of wrestlers when they're lying next to each other on the ground, they'll like grab each other's hand. One wrestler will grab the other's hands and like be like, squeeze my hand if you're okay.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So it's like kind of subtle, but they're checking on them.
A great moment of wrestlers on the ground is that while Jimmy and Sammy were up, they did their classic handshake.
The wrestlers on the floor.
And you could see in the background, in the corner of the ring, even though it was just Jimmy and Sammy doing the handshake, Jay was back in the corner miming it from the floor, his part of the handshake. Yeah. Just like, I'm a part of this too. A lot of fun little things happened there.
Yeah, no, that was really funny. But yeah, good match. Tama Tonga and Tonga Lower just fucking crazy. Jacob is even more crazy. I couldn't believe that the second person they sent out in the match was it was
Bronson Reed that they sent out after. Yeah.
No, I think it was Tama and then Jacob and then Bronson. And I was shocked that they just kept sending out their biggest guys. It makes sense. Because, like, you know, they can rattle them up for Solo, but, like...
Oh, yeah, just, like, doing easy farming early on.
It was just, like, holy shit.
There were some great moments that happened cage side with Punk and Roman. Those two just, like, being the absolute biggest personalities in wrestling. Them, of course, butting heads. Great to see.
Right, yeah, including the moment, funny enough, where Roman got locked out of the cage because they locked the cage with a padlock, which you're not supposed to do. And Roman had to climb over it into the ring.
Yes.
To get the match started.
They had to have the refs come around with bolt cutters and break into the ring to start the match.
Yep.
Very conveniently timed after Paul Heyman gave a little speech.
Yeah, no, that timing was crazy.
Absolute cinema.
Good PLE. Mostly good matches. No, nothing downright ugly, for sure.
I think it was, on average, a very good PLE.
Yes. It was... I'll give it top 10 of the year.
I'll give it that was an 8.5.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, I'm hoping that this Bloodline saga continues in a interesting way. That's not too dragged out. Besides that, that's Survivor Series Wargames for you.
Good shit.
Next one we got is Saturday night's main event, I believe, and then January 6th we get the first Monday Night Raw on Netflix.
Yes, which God, I really hope that they fix their streaming ordeal. Netflix.
Right.
I don't want to see the end of a hype match and then it just buffers and cuts out and freezes on Mike Tyson's ass for 2 minutes.
Yeah, I do hope to God they do something. They make it worthwhile.
We were acknowledging a little bit before this that WWE, they have been uploading a lot more of their older stuff for free to their YouTube channel. So that's been just good watching. For right. If you're not up on anything, you're not keeping up with current things, or even if just, you don't want to pay for new wrestling content, but you still want to see some wrestling. Full PLEs and previous events just getting uploaded in full to their YouTube that you can just watch. It's great.
Yeah.
Nothing like free wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have live TV, you can watch the highlights the same night of the shows to keep up if you just want to watch it in segments or just need a place to have to go watch the It's sad you can't watch it in full, but,
I feel like that's one of the biggest things that sets WWE apart from a lot of their competitors at this moment, is that WWE has a very well-refined media cycle for every event. They always get hype up by, releasing some previous PLE for free to get people in the mood for wrestling. And then they, are immediately clip farming the events as they're happening. They have the highlights ready immediately, so it's like the moment it's over, and it's like, we're not going to make any more money from people after this event is over, so here's the good shit. Like, they just have like a straight up like media farm that is just working at high efficiency all the time, making sure the hype is staying up, keeping you well fed constantly on wrestling, even in a free capacity, always well fed.
Yes, they know how to cater to their social media audiences, because they also do it with TikToks. They post TikToks of clips from the show. They post enough of the context for you to get it. Even at PLEs, they post stuff the same day. They have a really on top of it editing team, which is impressive to me.
I think it was a little bit, in terms of like the camera work, wasn't the best for Wargames, but in general for the past couple months, and I hope it's something that continues more into Raw on Netflix. They've had a much better camera work.
Yes, they've been trying some new interesting things, especially, I don't know his name, but since the new head of production got brought on, they've tried a lot of new things that have been really interesting. A lot of like consistent static shots that like move around the, or not static shots, but like shots that actively move around instead of just cutting to different static shots. It's pretty cool. Like POVs from the crowd or like whatever like that. Good event overall though. I think an 8.5 is fair.
It's a good time.
And I guess since this was such a good episode, it's time to end it as well.
Oh, I guess so.
And if you want, with your now realized free time, you can go watch the highlights from Survivor Series if you didn't get a chance to see it.
You can also go check out our coffee page if you want to support the show, and make sure to follow the podcast for next week's episode.
That is true. Sure to do that, and we'll see you next week.
See you for 45.